Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Trelawny woman hacked to death by partner. Residents of Kingston here are expressing shock and anger following this morning's murder of a community member who was hacked to death allegedly by her common-law husband, who has since turned himself into the police. The deceased has been identified as cked, 31, unemployed of Kingston. Reports are that about 1:30 a.m., the alleged machete wheeler reported at the Kingston police station that he murdered Keelan. The police visited the scene and found the body with multiple chop wounds slumped in the house in which the common-law couple shared. 5, including 11-year-old, injured in Water Lane drive-by. 5 people, including an 11-year-old child, were left nursing injuries last evening after a drive-by on Water Lane in Kingston. The injured also include a correctional officer. Reports are that the 5 were on Water Lane in the vicinity of Gold Street about 5:50 p.m. when the occupants of a Toyota Axio motor car alighted from the vehicle with handguns and opened fire at the group. They sustained various injuries. The injured officer, who is a licensed firearm holder, fired back, causing the gunmen to retreat. 37 spent shells were recovered from the scene. Man stabbed to death in Barbican Square. A 55-year-old man who had a dispute with others in Barbican Square yesterday was stabbed to death. Dead is Chaplain Gosford, unemployed at Mary Spence, St. Elizabeth. Reports are that Gosford had a dispute with a group of men in Barbican Square about 9:45 a.m. when the group started throwing stones at each other. Gosford ran across the roadway where a man from Castle's Heights used a knife to stab him in the upper body. He collapsed and died. The perpetrator escaped in the area. Woman stabbed by man who ordered her to drop court case against him. A 24-year-old woman from Lilliput was stabbed repeatedly Thursday night by a man who ordered her to drop a case she had pursuing against him in court. Reports are that the woman got off a taxi and was walking through a footpath to get to her home when the man emerged from bushes and started telling her to drop the case she had with him at the court. She told him no, and he grabbed her by her throat and threatened to kill her. A tussle then developed between them, and the woman fell to the ground, after which the man used a knife to stab her several times in the stomach. He then fled the scene. The woman was taken to hospital, and the police are investigating the case to book him on wounding with intent charges. Vendor killed in Kingston. A 52-year-old vendor was murdered on Chesterfield Drive in Kingston Thursday evening while pushing his handcart along the roadway. Dead is Mark Anthony James of Seaview Gardens. Reports are that James was pushing his cart when men who were traveling in a dark-colored motor vehicle opened gunfire at him, hitting him in the upper body. He was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The police are investigating. Boat captain killed in St. Anne. A 40-year-old boat captain was killed at his gate in Stairtown Thursday night. He is Oswald Simmet, also called Cologne, of Block Road, Stairtown. Reports are that Simmet was sitting on a curb wall at his gate when he was attacked by a gunman who fired several shots at him, hitting him in the upper body. The gunman escaped. When the police arrived, Simmet was seen suffering from gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at hospital. Man killed during argument over music box. A 35-year-old man from Stratbogie District, Westmoreland, was killed Thursday afternoon during an argument with another man over a stolen music box. Dead is Jason Somerville, who was unemployed. Reports are that Somerville had an argument with the suspect over the stolen item, and during the argument, he was trapped with a machete on the left side of his neck. He ran but collapsed and was taken to hospital where he died. The suspect subsequently turned up at the Savannah Lamar police station and handed himself over to the police. 2 teen girls among 5 charged over gun ammo in car. Detectives from the Spanish Town police station arrested and charged 5 people for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition following an incident on Old Harbour Road on Friday. Charged are 25-year-old Azikiwe Osborne of Quarry Drive, Bridgeport, Portmore, 20-year-old Oquil Junior Lee, a security guard of Reedspen, Greater Portmore, 26-year-old Shanice Cephas Baker, a customer service representative, 19-year-old Janelle Anderson, and 18-year-old Aliyah Cunningham, a store clerk, both of Featherbed Lane, Spanish Town. Reports are that about 1 p.m., a team of officers was on patrol when they observed a motor vehicle driving in a reckless manner and intercepted it. The driver complied and the vehicle and the occupants were searched. A Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol along with a magazine containing 4 9mm cartridges were found under the rear passenger seat of the vehicle. The occupants were jointly charged yesterday. Their court dates are being finalized. Mckenzie condemns beating of female vendor in Montego Bay. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond Mckenzie has strongly condemned the beating of a female vendor by a private security guard contracted by the St. James Municipal Corporation at Charles Garden Market in St. James. I understand that a security guard hired by the St. James Municipal Corporation and the female vendor got into a verbal altercation before he physically assaulted her by hitting her on the legs with a piece of board. I am appalled at the guard's action. This administration does not condone the use of violence to resolve disputes, and I want to publicly condemn the beating. This is very unfortunate and heartrending incident that should never have happened and which I hope will never be repeated, stated Mckenzie. The minister further added that he has asked the mayor of Montego Bay to provide a comprehensive report on the issue by Monday so that the necessary actions can be taken. I have also been advised that the security firm contracted by the municipal corporation is conducting its own investigations into this incident. I want to assure members of the public who use the market as well as the vendors that this incident is entirely out of the norm and does not represent the continuing efforts by our local authorities to properly secure and administer the market, he said. Customs officer fire rescue save unresponsive infant on flight heading to Montego Bay. 3 United States Customs and Border Protection (CBP) officers helped to save an unresponsive infant aboard a departing airplane on Wednesday at Baltimore-Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport, BWI. CBP officers Tyler Bradley, Supreme Jones, and Spencer Warner were conducting outbound inspections operation on a flight departing to Montego Bay, Jamaica, when at about 12:23 p.m., a passenger reported that her infant son wasn't breathing, said a press release from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. CBP officers noted that the boy was unresponsive and Warner immediately initiated life-saving efforts by administering CPR. Meanwhile, Jones notified BWI Fire Rescue and Bradley established a safety perimeter. BWI Fire Rescue paramedics arrived on scene at about 12:30 p.m., assumed life-saving efforts, and transported the infant to a local hospital. The infant is expected to make a full recovery, the statement stated. This infant and his parents were incredibly fortunate that highly trained Customs and Border Protection officers were nearby to render immediate life-saving assistance to help paramedics save this precious young child's life, said Keith Fleming, Acting Director of Field Operations for CBP's Baltimore Field Officer. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.